let's jump into WandaVision for the week. So before we fully get into this coverage, I just wanted to say, for the people watching this on video, thank you so much for watching. If you could like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and consider subscribing to the channel. We're going to be posting more stuff on the Mojo Star Clips channel, so make sure you're following us there and you're subscribed. And yeah, we greatly appreciate the support. So let's jump into this coverage. Mo, as we always do, we're just going to give our general thoughts, and then we are going to get into some spoilers and to some different plot points. So, general thoughts, Mo, what did you think of episode 8, our second to last episode of WandaVision?
Okay, so I thought the whole episode was, I think, a good word. I don't know if it's a word for it, but a lot of things were paid off well. But I think it was a great episode. But I think that it was slightly underwhelming, just because, like, obviously without spoilers, like, it didn't. There's still a ton of questions after this. There's still a ton. We got answers, but not the answers we wanted.
Yeah.
And it was, I think that they did a really good job, and we'll get into it with the spoilers, but I think they did an absolutely great job with, a certain storyline and start a story arc and developing, like, going back and developing a character. I think they touched on that really well. And I think that some of the elements of, like, why this person did what they did and stuff like that, that was really good to know. And I think it was really touching. I think this one tugged on the heartstrings probably a little bit more. I think the most out of all the episodes.
I would agree with that statement.
And I will have to say again, I also really liked it. This was the longest episode so far, so it was good to see that it was longer. The only nick for it to me is that it was the longest episode with the least amount of answers. And I still have, and there's obviously speculation left and right about certain things, but we'll get into that for spoilers. But I just wanted to say that it was a really good episode. But if this was, in like episode 6 or 7, like, maybe I'd love it even more. But it was second to last episode. Like, we have one more episode left. So if that means it could be paid off really well in episode 9, but we just don't know yet. So I wanted to say it was very good, very good episode. Just still tons of questions.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll be honest. I feel kind of similar to you, but maybe even a little bit more than you. I feel a little disappointed. It was still a good episode, but I think similar to you, I was a little underwhelmed by some of the reveals. Obviously, like you mentioned, the length of this, I was expecting a little bit more, but instead it was meant to be more of kind of a character development episode with, this isn't a spoiler, it's a character development with Wanda, and like just more about everything that led up to the events of the show. So I appreciated that element, and I thought it was done very well. I thought the emotional moments worked very well, like you said. But it was kind of like the reveal. What's the big reveal? Oh, yeah, it's what I expected it to be. Like, and I think, okay, speaking in general terms, I think this episode proved a point to me. And that point is that sometimes, as us being a part of the fandom of these Marvel things, of comic book movies, of Star Wars, whatever, we can get so caught up in, what if they did this? What if they did all these big things that are just so wild and these crazy theories, and we get so convinced that this is for sure going to happen. I'm not going to say anything specific yet because this is still general thoughts, but all these different things are going to happen, and then they don't. And it's the answer is actually what was the most obvious answer, not the big thing that people are expecting. And so that just left me slightly underwhelmed after watching it. Like, after the credits started rolling, and then there was obviously a great post-credit scene that I thought was really, really good. But yeah, I just feel a little bit disappointed. it was still very good. The character development was very good for Wanda and for the other character. But I just I wanted it to be I wanted there to be more to it than there was. But again, some people I've heard, some people said this was their favorite episode, because the emotional moments really tugged at their heart and different things like that. So I understand that, but for me personally, I was a little bit underwhelmed. But next week we could get huge payoff to some of these other unanswered questions, like you said, because there's still so many questions that are unanswered. And if we're just gonna have to see how it ends up, because it could pay off. But as of now, I just feel a little bit disappointed by this episode, and I would agree with you that if this was more like middle of the season, I'd probably really like it a lot more. But since it's the second last episode, I'm just like wanting more. But some of the stuff that I want could just be in the last episode. We don't know. I'm really hoping this last episode is at least like 50 minutes
at least
or an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be too wishful, because we tend to do this with stuff like this. We do the same thing with Mandalorian.
Mando.
But
it wasn't even that long, and it ended up being absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the Mando finale. Yeah.
But like, here's the thing: it's just a little different though, because we just wanted the end of Mandalorian to be just epic, so we wanted it to obviously be longer because it was the finale.
Yeah.
This is not even just because it's the finale; it's because there's so many answers that need to be like. This isn't just. We hope it needs to be long.
Yeah, exactly. And with Mando, some of the unanswered questions, because there still was some unanswered questions even after the finale, but we knew they would eventually get into some of that stuff, and it looks like they're going to get into some of that stuff in the third season. So, and maybe even the Book of Boba Fett show. But with this, since this is more of a limited series. Now, granted, it's, Kevin Feige said numerous times, this Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2 are all kind of part of one story. So I get that there might be some unresolved things, but I just feel like
all the problems are not going to be solved.
Yes. You're just saying what?
I'm just saying that, like, some answers need to be provided. Like, you can't just end the series with a million questions, because there needs to be some type of payoff. And by 100%. Payoff, I don't mean the hero needs to win, because I don't think the hero is going to win in this series. But payoff meaning we need some answers, and we need to, leave on a note where we know, like, okay, the hero lost or the hero wins, yada yada this. Like, it's going to lead into this, not just up in the air for grabs.
Definitely. So that was kind of our general thoughts, and some, I guess that was a little more general thoughts, but that was some general things on the episode. Now we're going to jump into some specific plot points, some spoilers. So if you have not seen episode 8 of WandaVision, click off now. Come back to this part of the video and the rest of the video when you've seen it, or the rest of the audio, or skip to the next section if you're listening to the podcast on audio. So without further ado, you've been warned. So let's jump into some of these plot points. So the episode opens with goes back to the Salem witch trials, where Agatha basically is on trial with these witches for doing some type of like dark magic or whatever, and she basically has to face her mom, and her mom's like, one of the ones that think she's this huge threat and whatever, and then basically she ends up killing all these other witches, and it just showed, it gave you a lot more context to her character. So I thought it was a good opening, like, for the context of her character. I was telling this to Mo. I'm not gonna like go too deep into it because I doesn't need to, but I tread lightly when it comes to like witchcraft stuff in films and whatnot. But I thought it was a good opening and good context to her character. And then where did we kind of go from there, Mo?
So we get from there back to the basement of Agatha's house, and she's what Agatha's been just trying to do is she's just trying to understand Wanda. She wants to know how the heck she did what she did, because you can tell that she's jealous of Wanda, because it's taken years and years. Like, by the way, Agatha is like hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
It's taken Agatha so long to like learn all these spells, and Wanda, she just came naturally pretty much. So she just wants to know how Wanda did what she did with the hex. And you start to, I think this was good. I found this in a video, but like, it's true. I was thinking the same thing. So it wasn't Agatha all along.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
That was kind of misleading.
It was actually Wanda. Wanda did everything. She created the hex. She was the one, and she wasn't doing it on purpose. It was definitely it was an unconscious kind of thing, because you obviously see in this episode that especially when later down in the episode when she goes to Sword and she doesn't end up taking Vision's body, which
we'll get to that in a second.
We'll get there, but I was just getting to the point that she did everything. Agatha only did a few things just to try to figure out how she did it, but it wasn't Agatha all along.
Yeah, and I'll just be honest real quick on that plot point. When we get revealed that Wanda created it all, it was very the way which is a little bit later in the episode, but we can go ahead and touch on it. The way that she created it out of her grief was moving, because like it was gut wrenching. You understood. You had empathy for why she decided to create this reality. But the reveal part of it, it felt like it was going to be some type of buildup of, there's some other force kind of tempting her or whatever, but we didn't get that. It was just her. So I felt like there was more buildup there that didn't need to be there. That led you to believe there was going to be something else, but it really wasn't.
I will have to say, so when she's just trying to figure out her powers and she starts opening up these doors to her past, each room that they went into of her past was very moving. And it's honestly, this episode is an episode I didn't know I needed. Like, it was episode 8. Like, I was hoping for more, but like, I did need, like, I think we all needed we needed this backstory, because like, it is WandaVision. It's about Wanda. I don't think we realized the point. We still don't really even know a lot about Wanda's past.
But we learned a lot more that we didn't even know
and we got a lot of backstory that I just didn't like. I was like, oh shoot, I guess we do need to learn about Wanda more, because we didn't know much. We just heard what she said about it.
Exactly. So leading into that, the first or second room, I believe it was where we get kind of the reveal that the reason why she created the sitcom world was because she loved watching classic sitcoms growing up, and that was actually kind of what taught her and her brother English. Her father, we don't know if that's her biological father, by the way. We don't know. That's kind of a thing that's up in question.
Yeah, we don't know still about the Magneto thing.
Now, I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll find out. But her father in the show, he sold these box set TV sets, which, by the way, I as a physical media collector, I love owning like box sets and stuff like that. So I was like, I saw some of those box sets and I was like, dang, I want some of those. But anyway, so I thought that was a really cool reveal. I thought that was gonna be like, that seemed like something that was a little bit predictable, but it was done really well. Like the scene of them watching, and you can see that, like, which is the case for a lot of people, like watching TV and movies and entertainment, like, is an escape for a lot of people. And it was an escape for her from the trauma and everything she was experiencing from when she was a kid. So I felt like that also gave so much more context to the sitcom thing, and obviously just why she created all that. But so I thought that was a really cool opening. And then you see the moment of the Stark bomb that never went off, that is referred to in Age of Ultron. but actually really seeing that scene was like you were kind of on edge. And I'll be honest, the moment they sat down to watch the TV, I was like, oh, it's not good. And then her mom looks out the window and sees like all the gunfire and everything, and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna end well. And then as they're watching the show, big explosion.
Yeah,
her
it
parents
came
are
out
dead.
like
Yeah. For me though, it didn't come out of nowhere because like I could tell as soon as, especially when I saw the gunfire outside the window, I was like, oh shoot, this is.
I knew something was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen. I just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it was hard to watch because the part when her and Pietro were underneath the couch or whatever, and they saw the Stark bomb. I thought this part was really cool because you start to learn that. Do you remember the part when Wanda reached out her hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You start to pick up on something, that it was not a diffused bomb.
So you time out. They don't confirm that though. You think that's proof that was her magic that stopped the bomb?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I'm sold on that yet, to be honest. It could be, but I don't know if I'm sold on that yet.
I think that she diffused the bomb.
Okay.
And I think that that's why she's as powerful as she is because and that's why Agatha's she's jealous because she's this powerful, because she's trying to get the answers of how did she get her powers so
young.
Yeah. Because I don't think, because we even get it later on too with the stone, with her interaction with the stone and everything. Like, I don't think it was just the stone that gave her powers.
No.
In the testing, I think that she was a witch beforehand, and which we'll get into that because that's why she called her again the name drop later. We'll get to that, the Scarlet Witch. So I think that was really cool just to see that development, and then you get into the next door, which was I believe when they were getting tested.
Yeah, and it was the Loki's sword thing with the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's kind of skim over just like that part, the specific thing that needs to be mentioned, which was. So they say that there was nobody who had ever survived being in that room during the testing. So not obviously, but the scientists had some type of feeling about her. And it's revealed that when, all this explosion or whatever happens and she survives it, you see from the stone, when the stone breaks open, you see what looks like the Scarlet Witch. And in my opinion, that was a kind of a future like vision of her as the Scarlet Witch. Some people are like, was that an older version of the Scarlet Witch? And is the Scarlet Witch like a moniker? And it was some OG Scarlet Witch? I don't think that's what it is. I think it was just a vision of her in the future becoming the Scarlet Witch, and she saw that when she was younger. But I don't know. What did you think of that?
The Scarlet Witch hinting on Vision. Because as you notice, the Tesseract, which is blue, broke in the color of yellow of the Vision of the Mind Stone.
Right.
And I think that refers to how she was able to recreate Vision. And that's how she could overpower. That's how she could overpower Vision.
You think they? I don't think that's what it is. I see what you're saying. That's an interesting theory. But
remember. She could control Vision. She was the only one who could really control Vision. She could control the Mind Stone. And remember, through her grief, she recreated him.
Mm-hmm. Which gets revealed.
We don't know for sure if he can live out of the hex or not.
I don't think he can. I think it was clear that when he tried to exit and his body started to deteriorate. I think it was clear. And then in this episode, I think it was clear that he was just a complete manifestation of hers, and I don't know if it even had to do with her mind, like being able to control the Mind Stone. But I like your theory on that. That could be something with that.
So, okay, so then that happens. Also, the last thing I wanted to say back with the bomb thing, if you notice that when the Stark bomb was ticking, it was the same exact ticking as the toaster did in the first episode. I picked up on that. So like she again, all this traumatic memories have they've been ingrained in her head, and that's what led her to all the commercials and stuff like that. So.
Yes. So then the next big thing I wanted to cover with those, there's the one I want to keep it moving, so I'll kind of skim over. But the one where her and Vision are sitting on the bed watching some sitcoms together. That was a very powerful moment. There's a couple lines of dialogue in there that I thought were very moving.
Facts.
Yeah, and it was him kind of learning like how to have human interaction and whatnot. So I thought that was a very powerful moment. Gave context to their relationship. And then moving right along to the next thing, which was essentially, I'm drawing a blank. What was the next thing? I kind of lost my train of thought as I was talking.
Well, after that happened, it goes back to the memory of her driving her car to Westview.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was that note from Vision, and it was where because Vision and Wanda wanted to escape together, and they just wanted to live a normal life. So it was in Westview, and there was this house that they were going to build together in this foundation place, whatever, in Westview. And she goes there, and she's just super upset, and she just sits down, and then all of her grief and everything kind of pours into one after this was after she walked into Sword. Sword was the last
that was the next thing I wanted to get into, but obviously, so she saw. I'll just mention it briefly because we got to keep it pushing because I'm looking at the time here. We've been talking forever, but they're working on Vision's body, and it's revealed that why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Hayward.
Thank you. That Hayward did completely lied and said that Wanda stole his body. I knew because they've proven multiple times in the Marvel Universe, if you don't see something, don't believe it. If you don't see something exactly happen, you can't believe it. You can't trust it. So it was shown that really she just wanted to go get his body literally to bury him, but then they were working on his body. Looked like they were trying to recreate something, and he said, I can't get rid of $3 million of vibranium or whatever. So shows that Hayward is just a complete a-hole, as we've speculated. Now, is he more than that? Is he a villain? We'll find out. I think it's a possibility. Or he's just an a-hole who just has selfish motivations, and I think you can kind of understand his motivations. I don't know. I don't know. Possible. But so anyway, so it's revealed that, and then you see Wanda's grief moment where she creates the reality. She sees the plot of land that they were going to grow old in together, and it was just a very emotional moment, very poignant moment where you understood, as she breaks out why she created this reality. So it's a very sad moment, but then you understand. And as we're going through some of the commentary that Agatha was giving was pretty funny. And then this moment, she starts to realize everything. And there's also one moment kind of in there where she mentions, I have a theory, which I thought was pretty funny. Kind of a nod, like a wink to the audience of all the theories that people have, because Marvel they know their audience really well. So I thought that was funny. And then some more stuff happens, and we finally kind of get this moment at the very end where Agatha is holding the kids, and she gets kind of her costume, her look or whatever. Which I thought looked cool. And she says, "You are the Scarlet Witch." And so that was I'll be honest, that felt like it was supposed to be a big reveal moment, but that was one that kind of I was a little let down by. Here's why. Because that was so obvious to me. And it was okay to say that, but to say that in the way that they did, as if it was some big reveal, I was like, we already knew that. Why is this presented in this way? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That was a little bit And overall, with some of those plot points, I thought that like I said, there was some really cool stuff in there with the character development. It was just the moments that were supposed to be big reveals. A lot of them to me were yeah, that was obvious. I thought that was implied. The Vision body thing was cool with Hayward and whatnot. And some other things, but that's just where some of those reveals were a little underwhelming for me. And then we get the post-credit scene, which was really cool. That was a moment that was not a letdown for me. That was awesome. Seeing them creating Vision as this weapon, and he's got like this white glacier-looking body. And so obviously I think that's going to show that there's going to be a showdown between him and the Vision in the Hex.
Hold up.
So, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, in this episode, where was Monica? Where was Jimmy Woo?
Yeah.
Where was Quicksilver? Where was a lot of people? They were gone.
And that's why this last episode needs to be long, so that they can address everything.
The end credits scene out of episode 7 before this had Monica looking downstairs, and Quicksilver saw her,
right?
And he was like, "Snooper's gonna snoop or whatever." And you were thinking at least they were gonna be shown where he, and that's where I think Quicksilver actually is good, because I think if Quicksilver was really bad, she would have been thrown in the light to Agatha or something like that.
Obviously, he's a projection though of Agatha,
he is
presumably,
he is.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking. I'm thinking somehow he maybe broke off of it. I don't know. Just because I feel like we would have. I don't know. We'll see. But point is a lot of people you just didn't see in this episode. It was very, very focused. The spotlight was on Agatha and Wanda. So
yeah, definitely. So overall, really excited to see how things end up. I don't know how they are going to, but either way, I think we deserve that long episode, like we've said numerous times now. And I think it's going to be an epic showdown. Mo, any kind of final thoughts on it?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just ready to pop up my popcorn for episode 9.
Yes, sir. Me as well. So that's it for our coverage on the episode. Overall, really good episode. A few disappointments, but definitely looking forward to see where the finale ends up. But moving right along.